Well, good morning, everyone. It's the first week of March. It's been a tad windy of late, hasn't it? The rugby's going well, if you happen to be Welsh. Um, Federer's won his 100th title, and poor old Andy's announced that it's touch and go for him for another year. And we're coming to the end of another tax year. So I think it's time for another one of my In Practice blogs. As I say, today is the first week of March. It's actually the 5th of March today. And I want to concentrate, as we're coming to the end of the tax year, let's have a look at HMRC. What on earth is going on with HMRC at the moment? And in all honesty, it's not good news, is it? Let's start with the fact that, as I say, here we are, 5th of March 2019. On the 28th of February, which is, no time whatsoever before the MTD comes in, for 4VAT comes in from the 1st of April. On the 28th of February, we finally got information from HMRC about how to apply for an exemption and what's to be done if you have clients or you are in business yourself and want to apply for an exemption against MTD for VAT. Why did it take so long? Because let's be 100% honest, there's nothing in what they've put out that's astonishingly new. There's the reasons for the exemption availability are exactly the same as per the ability to not file a VAT return via the internet. So there's nothing astonishingly new there. What it is to bring this out on the 28th of February and say that this has to be done via a letter and possibly a phone call is frankly astonishing. Now, I appreciate that if you got a client who's if HMRC is saying that people want to be exempted from MTD4Vat on the grounds that they're incapable of dealing with it or the internet isn't good enough, therefore they shouldn't be wanting to use an email, etc. However, they may well have agents acting for them, and surely we can get away from actually trying to make a phone call that will only frustrate us you don't get through for an eternity, or having to write letters. I mean, to me, it's just a bit crazy, isn't it? But what I find frankly very disturbing is that it's taken until the 28th of February to get this information out. So what's going to happen, there's going to be an awful lot of people who are going to want to get that exemption for myriad reasons, and they've only got, they've been given the month of March effectively. Okay, they may not have to submit a VAT return until April, May, June, July, to sort of July, but it's no time whatsoever, is it? HMRC really should have stepped up to the plate here and got this information out an awful lot quicker. If you're looking for the information on how to apply for the exemption, go to our website, www.icpa.org.uk. Have a look in our portal documents and you'll see I've got it up there for you. It's fairly straightforward how to deal with it. But as I say, this is what's concerning me about HMRC at the moment. They knew this was been coming in. Why has it taken this long? I have absolutely no idea. Today's webinar is entitled, what's going on at HMRC? And something else has occurred very, very recently, which again is very disturbing. We are in a situation, here we are in the first week of March 2019, and HMRC have announced that late filing penalty notifications are not going to be sent out until April. So we've got a situation where at the end of January 2019, we had a number of tax returns submitted late. The exact number was apparently 731,186 anticipated tax returns had not been filed by the 31st of January. Now, I would say many of those people did not know they had to file a tax return for whatever reason. Every single accountant watching this presentation will know full well. Every February we get phone calls from taxpayers saying, oh, I've just been told I've got a fine because I haven't filed a VAT return. I didn't know I had to file it for whatever reason. I don't want to get into that at this moment. But there are an awful lot of people out there who have not filed a VAT return and had no knowledge that they had to file a VAT return for whatever reason. The first thing that brought it to their attention would be when that £100 fine plopped through their door, usually within the first week of the month of February. HMRC have announced that the reason they're giving is because of Brexit, strangely enough, when they issue the fines, they get a lot of phone calls and a lot of queries, and that's going to take time, and they haven't got the manpower because of what they're working on Brexit. So in order to make sure they don't take people away from whatever they're doing regarding Brexit, they're not sending the fine letters out until around April, which is just in time for the daily penalties to kick in. Seriously, what on earth is going on with our HMRC? What on earth is going on? Okay, they're short of manpower, yeah? No doubt, but they're putting everything. They're the ones who got rid of the manpower on the basis of technological savings. And here we are, the technological savings aren't even there to make sure that 731,000 taxpayers receive their late filing penalties in sufficient time to not have to worry about daily penalties accruing when they weren't aware that they probably even had the fine. And how did HMRC release this information? Was it a big press release? Was it a press release, underneath, at the same time as when they put out about how many cigarette smugglers they'd caught, about how many cafes who had been avoiding paying their tax, when they put all those emails out? Did they put it out there for us all to see? No. Basically, it was buried alive within the agent tax update under the tab, under the section Brexit, not even in the tax section, under Brexit. Just saying, there you go. This is a very bad development, isn't it? We have a HMRC who know that this is a bad piece of news. This is not going to look good on them. We have a HMRC who is basically shouting from the rafters to the government, we can't cope. We simply can't cope. We've got 731,000 taxpayers who didn't submit their tax return on time, which is, let's be honest, is not a great result. We've got 731,000 taxpayers who did not submit a tax return on time, and we can't even send them a letter or an email to remind them that they've now got a £100 fine. If this is literally shouting from the rafters to the government, we can't cope. This is a HMRC that, frankly, on top of various other issues that we've had to put up with, they are obviously in a degree of disarray. But what I find upsetting is that, okay, they've got a problem. They're short on manpower. They can't deal with this issue. Stand up and be counted. Say it out loud and say it properly. Do not bury it in an agent update in the section on Brexit, rather when it should be to do with tax, or it should be to do with HMRC. It should be honest and upfront and put it out and let the government see that here's a problem that's apparently none of them making because they haven't got sufficient manpower. What can I say? I find it very distressing. And as I say, I think we have a HMRC that literally is, forget those who are looking for honours later on in their career. They're basically the workers are shouting out from the rafters, we can't cope. Well, what's coming up in the month of March that I think will interest you? Well, I've got two major webinars coming up, which I think you'll want to get registered for. The first one is on the 21st of March, which is one of my Tony Talks webinars, where I'll be bringing into focus MTD4Vat and its big brother MTD4Vat, which I know is due to start in April 2020, which is looking a bit unlikely to say the least, but the ground rules for that are being laid now. So I want to reopen the debate about MTD4Vat and also cover problems relating and issues people are thinking about, last minute things they're thinking about for MTD4Vat. I've got two super guests who will be there. to help me along the way. We've got the marvelous Lee Sharp, who is the managing editor of Taxation Web, and he has some very strong views on MTD for business, and also he's also a renowned writer for the Bloomsbury group of publications on taxation. And also I'm going to be joined by Julie Green, who is the VAT consultant for Krona TaxWise, to help us along with the old MTD4Vat issues. So can I just ask now, if you have any questions on either of those subjects, send them in to me now, and you know, we'll review all the questions that we got, and I'll see if I can bring them up at the session. Obviously there'll be a chance to ask questions on the session, but if you want to get some questions in advance, either on MTD4Vat or its big brother MTD FB, send them to me, yeah? Tony, Tony, at icpa.org.uk. That's Tony, Tony, at icpa.org.uk, and I'll see you bring that one in. Second webinar we've got coming is on the 26th of March, and that's my webinar on behalf of Rudy Jensen's initiative, which is the Progressive Practice Summit. I'll be on from, I think it's about 2 o'clock. Please check their website to get that accurate. Don't worry, I'll be there at the right time. But I'll be talking to you there about digital, you know, the future's digital. We're talking about the digital agenda, and we'll be talking about accountants and how we're reacting to this digital agenda, and you know, really bringing up the issue of, you know, compliance and advisory. What the heck is compliance and what is advisory? And obviously I'm going to be giving it from the viewpoint of being an accountant, yeah? So not from, you know, because we get this time of year, don't we, and everything's coming out of the woodwork trying to sell us stuff, and you know, the perennial, you know, compliance is dead, etc. People, you know, and then they and their answer to everything is, we're all naysayers if you say what on earth you're talking about. But I'll be having that should be a very interesting webinar, and please check his website out, the Progressive Practice Summit, and see how to register for that one. So there's 2 good things coming up in the month of March. So have a good end to the tax year. Get your planning sorted for the forthcoming tax year. Keep your eye open on our ICPA website, where there's plenty of information, updates keep being put out for you. And let's have a good new tax year.